look because he's famous. He's done over 1,000 exorcisms.
What does you believe?
That's not the devil.
Does a thief or a burglar turn on the lights when he's robbing your house? No. He prefers you to believe that he's not there, like the devil.
It gets complicated when no proof of the devil is somehow proof of the devil.
She's choking. You're still not convinced.
She doesn't need a priest. She needs a shrink.
Well, it's the Rite. Another shitty exorcism film. Well, it's the Rite. How much more of this crap do we have to sit through?
You know, Cyrus, maybe you should just be the singing critic. You just sing all your movie reviews.
Oh, see, don't put that on me.
Yeah, and when you do it, can you do it in that other room while we record?
Solo, we can't hear you.
my incredibly popular singing career, except it's just me in the other room without a mic, with soundproof walls.
With your cat looking at you, disapproving.
Oh, he's got a brilliant career as long as you can send him to shitty movies. just build your trailer outside of Uwe Boll's house.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm just not inspired unless I see some bullshit.
I see it now. The shitty singing reviewer.
Wait,
on YouTube.
Just phrase that.
Hey, you know what? On YouTube, that could make it.
That's true.
It's still the wild frontier.
Hey, screw you, Corey. I'm out of here.
Man, we've gone a long way to not talk about this boring ass movie.
This is called The Rite, and it is, as I sang, yet another boring ass exorcism movie. I mean, you know what? I've liked some of the other exorcism films that have come out lately. The Last Exorcism is good up until the end. I'm the one who liked the Exorcism of Emily Rose. I liked it because it really seriously discussed the idea of like, how do you really know if someone's really possessed or if they're just insane, and it left it up to the viewer to decide. This is a film that pretends as if it wants to talk about that, but ultimately it's just a big dumb monster movie.
Honestly, I didn't care for the Exorcism of Emily Rose until I saw this, and now I appreciate it so much more.
Sure.
I mean, here, it's kind of a straightforward tale of a young guy who decides, he's grown up like a mortician. Rutger Hauer's his mortician dad. He's like, I got to get out of this life. And the only way I can do that, my dad won't let me be anything else except a priest or a mortician. So I'm going to go to seminary school. And this guy's like, man, you're going to lose your dick. He's like, no, I got a plan. See,
no, not seminary school.
Yeah, exactly. No. Here's my plan. See, I get to go for 4 years to get my education. And then I'll tell him I don't want to do it. And then I got an education for free. Till Toby Jones, the father, says like, yeah, you could do that. But then we're just going to charge you for all those years of education.
It'd be like $100,000.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you really thought the Catholic Church was that stupid that we just handed out free education?
Right. Which is great.
Without you giving a blowjob first? Come on.
Yeah, which is a great scene because that guy's playing Mr. Magoo as a priest because the scene that involves him in the accident that was like the one jolt of, oh wow,
that's true. That's true.
That was cool, but I was like, wow, this whole thing to set up this scene where this guy who doesn't know if he has faith or not, it's going to be the ultimate thing to really test his faith at that point.
Yes,
Right.
Yes. A tragic accident happens, and he performs like a priest, as he's been trained to do for 4 years. I don't know how he was able to pull that off.
And they build it up so much.
They do.
And that's the problem. Like every little scene, like it's a close up of his face, and it's like they're banging you over the head with, "Does this guy believe or not? Does he? Who? Huh?"
The point there is that he could be a priest. All he has to do is do that final thing. That he's graduated everything but saying, okay, no more pussy. So, he's done everything but that, and one can understand, perhaps, that would be a point that you come to a grinding halt and go, wait, I'm not sure.
It stops a lot of Jedis.
Yeah,
but,
it certainly does. And then others it doesn't.
Right, true. No. So from this setup, it's almost kind of film noir. It's like he's almost getting blackmailed to like, look, if you don't want to have to pay this money, we need you to go to the Vatican and learn to do an exorcism.
Yeah,
just do one.
Which isn't so bad. Even the priest says, look at it this way. You're getting a free trip to Rome.
Yeah.
How horrible is
Exactly.
that?
Exactly.
And sure enough, that's kind of how he looks at it. He's there. He's I forget the name of the actor. Who's the name of the actor who's playing the main priest there?
I can't remember.
Syrian Hands?
Yeah. Who's like, great. But he doesn't, he's not in this enough to even comment on why he was
not
there.
at all.
Yeah, I know. He's just kind of there to go like, you need to go see Anthony Hopkins. I'm sorry.
Yeah, basically, the guy's like, look, this is still a bunch of bullshit. You can tell me about this 6 days from Sunday, and every question you answer just leads to 10 more questions, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes, all right, so go see Anthony Hopkins, who's like the old school, like, I've been doing this shit since your daddy was a
he is
diaper.
the exorcist.
Yeah.
I mean, for right now, he's the main guy. He's the top guy.
Yeah, right. Well, I thought it was with Van Helsing from Dracula. I mean, because honestly, once you're introduced to him, when you're introduced to Anthony Hopkins, the movie really makes a left turn. I mean, because that's when things start to get incredibly ridiculous and incredibly corny as soon as his character is introduced.
Yeah,
because the movie kind of starts off, it's like, okay, I see kind of where this is going already, but maybe they're going to try to take it a little bit serious.
Well, it felt like it was trying to have a serious discussion about exorcism,
Right.
which is why up until that point I kind of liked it. I was like, all right, this is interesting. Let's see where this is going. I mean, even though you're pretty sure that eventually it's going to be it has to be a thing where the guy ends up finding his faith, and yes, he believes exorcism is real. Fair enough. All right, we know that going into it. But it felt like it's got a cool build up. The moment before we meet Anthony Hopkins, when you get a fake cat in the window scare, which is the oldest trick in the horror
And it really
book.
is a cat.
I mean, it's so hoary that Community made fun of it. All right? I knew that things had gone terribly wrong. And sure enough, it's just one cliche after another as he goes around with Anthony Hopkins dealing with the exorcism, the steady progress of the exorcism of a pregnant young girl.
She's 16.
Yeah.
She's raped by a father.
Yeah.
And it's just enough to go like, this guy still who doesn't have his faith, he's like, she's not possessed by a demon. She just don't want to have this baby. Who would blame her?
Yeah.
She's just trying to get rid of it.
Even so, it's like, okay, so we have to look at this movie outside of our own skeptical beliefs and say within the movie's mythology and saying, all right, sooner or later they're going to say Satan is real and like yada yada. So just let's see how they sell it. You kind of like, look, dude, you're an idiot. Okay, skeptic or no, there's some shit that just happened that there is no explanation for other than the devil is in them. So just go with it.
Yeah, the chick is turning purple and all kinds of colors. You see her veins popping out. You hear Freddy Krueger's voice come out of her throat.
Yeah.
And the whole
He
time
knows
it's like, what else do you need for this fucking chick to grow wings and start flying? Are you still going to be like, she's probably just crazy?
She knows incredibly
like,
personal shit.
I bet she took some of that venom formula like Bane. That's all that is.
That's probably more reasonable.
She's watched one too many movies.
The thing is, I know the movie's gonna, it's gonna hype itself up. It's gonna get fantastic and go off the rails from where it started. And I would have been okay with that if it had done it sooner, I think, because the fact is, for all we're saying about how it's serious in the beginning and then goes crazy toward the end, it doesn't go crazy. It just gets more fantastic. And I don't even want to use words like fantastic. Because the fact is, this movie is fucking boring. It could not have been more dull and slow. The fact that you have a bunch of cliches makes it dull.
God.
It makes it hard to pay attention to it. And the main thing is, like, Anthony Hopkins is he's getting accused of chewing up scenery, but your leading man, Colin O'Donoghue, he's so flat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in the
He really
beginning,
is.
he's like that unaffected, kind of young guy. He reminded me of the kid in Animal Kingdom, where you just barely talk. You don't get to know much about him. It starts out, you're like, okay, I'm curious about his story, and you think you'll learn more about him, but then he's just kind of a stick figure who barely says anything throughout the movie. His non-reaction means Anthony Hopkins has to work doubly hard to try to make something, and it's just not enough there to work with.
I can't help but wonder if perhaps that was intentional, and I'm not defending the decision, but because they really wanted him to be an avatar for the audience in many ways, like just a blank slate in many ways, because the films is an argument for faith. I mean,
sure,
it's just a terrible one because it is its own argument. The film's like, so you're a skeptic, huh? You don't think that there's reason to believe in God and the devil? Well, what about that? What do you mean, the movie?
Yeah, the special effects.
Stuff you just saw. That was the devil. It's like, that's not. You don't get how this works, do you?
Anthony Hopkins doesn't count. He's not the one possessed, which is the whole. I mean, just thinking about Anthony Hopkins' career up until this movie, I'm like, maybe that guy is in serious need of an exorcist, because I mean, every time I see him now, in this movie especially, he does like if Van Helsing had sex with Hannibal Lecter, they would have aborted something like this character that he plays in this movie. I mean, and I have to admit, though, as soon as he's on, he really does chew up the scenery, like you say, and the worst possible way, but in the best way, to where it really took me out of that boredom just watching him. I mean, honestly, I could have watched a good 10 minutes of him just doing his crazy fucking thing that whatever he's doing now these days. And I was like, actually, during those parts, I was actually thoroughly entertained.
The interesting thing about skeptics, atheists, is that they're always looking for proof, certainty. Question is, what on earth would we do if we found it?
We?
Oh, yes. There are times when I experience a total loss of faith. Days, months when I don't know what the hell I believe in, God or the devil, Santa Claus or Tinkerbell. Yet there's something that keeps digging and scraping away inside me. It feels like God's fingernail. And finally I can take no more of the pain, and I get shoved out from the darkness back into the light.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I wish I could have been.
I was the other way around. I liked him at first. I was like, wow, he's actually not playing crazy over
Right.
the top, chewing up scenery Anthony Hopkins. He's playing kind of a reasonable guy, even for Exorcist Priest, which I even did. Okay, let's say this was really based on a real guy, like they're saying. I doubt he was as rational and as well thought out
could
as
you be?
Anthony Hopkins'
Yeah.
character was, because he performs exorcisms,
Yeah.
people.
I mean, you have
But-
to
Cyrus,
take almost nothing and make it into something. You have to be a drama queen to be an exorcist.
Yeah, but as the movie goes on, he turns into Hannibal Lecter completely, and like to even to the point where he's doing the accents,
Yes.
and stuff, and you're like, oh come on, what is
Channeling
that
that,
shit?
Freddy Krueger. I mean, really? I mean, there's moments where I'm like, wow, are you telling me the devil can't manage to get decent material? Where I'm like, dude, I mean, Freddy Krueger will fucking completely outdo you at the Apollo.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I-
Especially with his hell. Oh, I'm
Oh,
like,
God.
really?
You gotta be kidding me,
Okay.
devil.
Yeah. And they don't even do that one. It's like he's still trying to make that joke work. And it's like,
Just how could
sorry, we got nothing.
How could you be scared by a devil who was that unoriginal? It's like, have you not even seen a horror movie past 1970s? What is the deal? This is so. Oh, gee, I'm frightened. You're evil. Oh no! Look, she threw up some nails. Oh, what? Why? What does
Yeah,
that mean?
yeah. That.
What is that even supposed to be there?
You can-
It's so
it's because
uninspired.
they've just they pretty much exhausted this whole genre of exorcist movies, and cause, I mean, it really showed in this film where I'm like, wow, you guys, really can't think of anything else, huh? I mean, now we're going into slasher territory.
I
Really?
mean, I am surprised they didn't go the route of making it like a reality film with the handheld camera. Right? But yeah, it's just nothing new to be done there to get you engaged. Okay, other than him slapping a little girl,
That was
Yeah.
pretty
that
fun.
was funny.
he pulled a fucking Rick James on that.
Daddy, Father, will you bless my dollar? I'll bless your face.
Cold blooded. That was, I mean, and that's when Anthony Hopkins was on. I'm like, wow, can I just
He probably
watch,
ad-libbed that part
watch
too.
this? Like, yeah,
I just wanted to smack a kid. He's like,
No.
sorry, I was in the moment.
I know.
I'm a
I
method actor.
felt terrible when I was laughing at that whole scene. I'm like, oh, parents behind me going, you asshole.
Yeah, and Alice Braga, who's just showing up in everything nowadays. I mean, she's got a great press agent or whoever it is getting her all these roles. But I was like, why is she here?
She serves no purpose at all. She's even flatter than the main, and I don't mean that physically. I
Yeah.
mean like in her character.
Yeah.
Than the main guy, the main priest guy. She's just given nothing to do except to be a spectator.
Right.
It's as if to say, look now, don't think that this is just these two people.
Right, we had to have
report about
another
this
witness
story.
to-
Have to have another witness, so this seems a little less like bullshit.
All I thought she was there for the guy to bang at some point. I'm like, is she going to get naked or something?
And see, that
What's
could
the
have been
point?
something interesting to like. Okay, if she was the hot chick that was making him go like, see, she's the reason I don't want to be a priest because I want to have sex with women like this.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's this evil that I need to vanquish. What do I do? But they don't play on that at all.
No.
And you know, for a movie that's almost 2 hours and just passes up every chance to do something interesting, just doesn't even try. Like they just think it just like it feels like you know, they thought having great atmosphere and you know and cats jumping out scares was going to be enough. And it's just not. I just
Not even.
They should have really taken some liberties like Seasons of the Witch did, where it's just at the end they're like, okay, we have nothing here. Let's really amp this up.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
turn this into fucking He-Man.
We need Nicolas
And-
Cage here.
Or they should have had fucking Anthony Hopkins sprouting fucking wings from his asshole and just like, flying around going, I'll swallow your soul. You know, might as well. I mean, 'cause
It'd be something to talk
was that
about.
Look,
ridiculous
just show us
stuff.
something anything we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And just one thing we've never seen before. Okay, yeah, he did hit a little girl, but other than that, That was
that was the highlight.
It was just
yeah.
funny. I mean, there was a sequence in here where he's like dreaming / sleepwalking / something where he sees a mule with red eyes looking at him, and that's the entirety of the creepiness in that scene.
Yeah.
And the people in the audience where I was started laughing their asses off during that scene, and I thought that was just so telling.
I know. Well, that's because in that scene I imagined it going, "Hello, Wilbur."
Well, Freddy Krueger's goat was busy that day, so I guess all I could find was a possessed horse.
I mean, really, like going into the video game lame dream sequences, guys. Come on, give us a break.
Yeah, there's nothing much to report here. I mean, if you're a big fan of the exorcism genre, it's not that it's offensive per se. There's just nothing really special in any way about it. And I'm probably being too fair to this, and I'm only giving it this high rating because I didn't feel it went off the rails to terribleness. So I'm going to give it a rental.
You know what? I thought I was going to do that, but like this is one of those rare cases where I go like, you know what? This movie needed some stupid in it. Just to wake it up, to make it do something interesting, just so I'd have something to talk about. Mm-hmm. But as it is, it's like, wow, for what started out as what could have been a good premise, it just squandered into complete dull boredom. I just could not have been. I can't stress that enough, like how bored I was in this movie. And for that, I give it some old bullshit because that's just like the biggest fail you can have with a movie.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, how in the fuck does anyone manage to make the devil boring? I mean, really. and yeah, you're right. I mean, the only things like really for me to give this, I'm going to give it a rental, and that's only because Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Where his performance is so fucking ridiculous. You really want to like go and ask him like, how much of that was you, and how much of that was the ghost of Robert Englund? I mean, come on. I mean, what's going on here? But yeah, I don't know.
This movie needed some writing.
Yeah, it needed something. Well, I think Anthony Hopkins just threw out that script and like, let me do it. I can do it. I am evil.
I did the Wolfman. I can play villains.
I killed the motherfucking bear.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was not this movie.
Crom laughs at this movie.
Michael, what's happening to me?
If Lucas couldn't defeat it, how can I?
The terror is real, Michael. It's real. Michael, close the door, please. We don't want to be disturbed, do we?